the fascists that I was hunting down last year are now government employees.
Video surfaced of federal agents descending on a Halloween parade in Chicago over the weekend. Trick-or-treaters watch as masked agents load people into white SUVs.
Do not touch him!
And today, the man who oversees Chicago's immigration operations, U.S. Customs and Border Protection Chief of Patrol Gregory Bavino, arrived at the federal courthouse in Chicago to a chaotic scene. A federal judge ordered him to appear after he was seen allegedly throwing a canister of tear gas into a crowd during a protest last week. The judge also addressed the Halloween video, saying, "Kids dressed in Halloween costumes walking to a parade don't pose an immediate threat to the safety of a law enforcement officer. They just don't."
It's Ken Harbaugh with the MeidasTouch Network. It was a Halloween parade for kids, rated by ICE. You gotta wonder if they're proud of themselves, descending on peaceful communities like this one to terrorize, to abduct. What kind of people do that? The rot very clearly starts at the top. You saw that clip of Greg Bavino casually tossing a tear gas canister towards a crowd. It's no wonder the agents under his command behave the way they do. And when Bavino was confronted about ICE's tactics, which included shooting a priest in the head with a pepper ball, his solution, his message to the American people was don't protest. I'm not inferring this. I'm not paraphrasing. Just listen.
The use of force that I've seen has been exemplary.
Firing from elevation is within DHS policy.
It doesn't matter where you fire from. An elevation is not a violation of policy. That is a less lethal device for area saturation. Absolutely. If someone strays into a pepper ball, then that's on them. Don't protest and don't trespass.
Don't protest. That's their answer. And that is the message that every ICE agent is internalizing. We are the criminals for daring to stand up to their abuses, to their violations of the Constitution. I've got even more bad news. This is going to get worse because DHS has launched an insanely ambitious recruiting campaign that is designed to attract the worst of the worst. I'm going to let audience favorite Kris Goldsmith explain. Here's our conversation. Welcome to the Ken Harbaugh Show. We've got Kris Goldsmith back, the founder of Veterans Fighting Fascism and our resident expert on the excesses of ICE, which is having a real hard time, it appears, Kris, with meeting its recruiting goals. There has been reporting that up to a third of new recruits can't pass the initial physical. I've even heard a rumor. This can't be true. But I've even heard a rumor that they are now being asked to attest to the fact that they can run a mile and not actually having to run a mile. But if they sign a document that says, oh yeah, I can run a mile, you can be an ICE agent and beat up on brown people. Sorry to be flip about it, but these are the folks they're going after who couldn't make it into the National Guard, much less the active duty military, but ICE is their perfect home.
Yeah. Yeah. I think what we're seeing is kind of the natural result of 20 years of commercializing the global war on terrorism. We have seen whether it's Call of Duty or Black Rifle Coffee.
Yeah.
This has become, or grunt style t-shirts. It's become an aesthetic. It's become a lifestyle, that everybody is LARPing in, live action role playing, right? These are the people who go into Central Park with foam swords and pretend they're fighting dragons, right? That's what LARPing is. That's what these people have been doing, all of these like MAGA maniacs, for the last 10 years. They have adopted this tough guy ethos, as Pete Hegseth has tried to put forward. They haven't actually lived it. It's all been a game to them. And, there's a good side of this is that these guys have been fucking around and now they're finding out. Right. That's why my podcast is named Find Out. We have seen these MAGA freaks who have glorified violence, and it is happening. It is real, but there are not enough tough guys to do what they want to do. And no matter how much of a hissy fit Stephen Miller, discount fucking Goebbels has, that's not going to improve the problem. That is, people who tend to have like decent, well-adjusted lives are not joining ICE. People who are physically fit are not joining ICE, and that's why we're seeing $50,000 sign-on bonuses. And to be totally fair, that's the reason that the Army was offering tremendous fucking bonuses back in 2006, 2007, before and during the troop surge into Iraq, because rational fucking people were like, this is fucked. We don't want to do this. So we're not signing up unless you bribe us, with the average American's year salary up front, in addition to, other benefits.
Can you talk about the recruiting campaigns that are now being rolled out to seduce these people into ICE? Because they're not just cringy and pathetic. I mean, they are, I was going to say they're bordering on fascistic, but when you do the side by side with actual Nazi recruiting posters and motivational posters during the 1930s, you can't tell them apart except for the language.
Yeah. The aesthetic that they're using is a fasci aesthetic. It's a fascist aesthetic. It is something that has developed not just online, but in their posters that neo-Nazi organizations are throwing on Jewish people's lawns in the middle of the night because they're fucking cowards and they don't do this shit in front of people, right? The fascists that I was hunting down last year are now government employees. That is where we are now. The Homeland Security Twitter feed and all of the propaganda that they're putting out on social media is using the exact aesthetic touches that terrorist organizations have been using for years now. The glitchy, making it look like it was on VHS kind of thing is like a Gen Z fasci aesthetic editing style that is now being used by the government of the United States. And the sad thing is that most people who are seeing this don't have that context. They haven't spent the last 5 years on Telegram like I have, hanging out with fucking Nazis and these wannabe militiamen, right? Most people who are seeing this shit might get the subtle hints that the fascist aesthetic is designed to do. Like this, it's promoting white supremacy. It's promoting the idea that people of color and immigrants are less than human. Like people can sense that kind of thing. But most people who are looking at this don't understand that it's literally a carbon copy of what the base, an international terrorist organization, has been using as its recruitment videos for over 5 years.
Hey everyone, it's Ken. Quick break here to say thanks for watching and a huge shout out to everyone who supported my most recent reporting trip to Ukraine. I hope you followed the updates on Substack. I reported from Chernobyl, from Kyiv and Odessa, and from frontline positions alongside some of the bravest people I have ever met. If you haven't yet signed up for my Substack, please check it out. It's free to join. The link's below. Thanks. When it comes to ICE, my fear is not that they will eventually find enough qualified people to meet the standard and they will plus up their numbers. That they will ignore the standard or just change the standards altogether, and you'll have a private regime protection police force for the Trump administration that is populated by deeply insecure, deeply mentally and physically unfit people with chips on their shoulders and something to prove. And I think you're already beginning to see that in the way they treat the most vulnerable in our communities. I mean, only a man, and I'm going to pick on the guys because it's almost all guys in these videos, only a man who hates himself and whose parents didn't love him enough is treating people the way these ICE agents are treating people.
Yeah. Yeah. And someone who lacks discipline, right? The difference between someone who serves their country in uniform in military and someone who wears the badge of ICE is that people in the military, like members of the National Guard, they're swearing an oath to a constitution that they learn to appreciate during basic training, which is nothing like ICE's training, right? You start to develop, real friendships and a support network when you join the military. You are not as dehumanizing as some parts of like basic training or boot camp can be. I think you generally come out as a better person. People who are joining ICE are thinking that they're living through a similar experience, but what they're actually doing is they're getting indoctrinated into this idea that they are untouchable. Stephen Miller has come onto, I think, Fox News and tried to say that if you are a federal agent of any kind, you have blanket immunity and you could do anything you want. That is that is not fucking true. And I want to encourage, I don't expect any ICE recruits to be watching this show, but I want to encourage people who know people are joining ICE, whether they're your fucking nephew or your neighbor, like start documenting shit. Start documenting their social media activity. And if and when there ends up being a video of them physically abusing someone, like that type of stuff showing premeditation, showing a racist history will help in holding them accountable to the fullest extent of the law. So average Americans shouldn't feel completely powerless here. Even if you're a blue dot in a sea of red, right? Simply taking screenshots of an ICE recruit's social media history, those screenshots may sit dormant on your computer for 4 years. And then you see a headline of that person, having been in a physical altercation where they violated somebody's civil rights. Those screenshots might suddenly have value towards finding justice for that person's ultimate victims. Because most of what happens doesn't happen on camera.
That's right.
So if a member of ICE is abusing someone on camera, it is very likely that this is not the first time they've done it and that there are many more victims who will never find justice. So all of us have a responsibility to play a role in holding these people accountable.
That is a great note to end on. And it's a theme we've been hitting a lot lately. Eric Swalwell talked about crimes commissions to investigate these kinds of things on the scale of like the 9/11 and J6 and even the Warren Commission, Jason Crow, even candidates like Fred Wellman. I think there is a movement among Democrats, electeds and candidates, to make sure that these ICE agents know that they might feel invulnerable now, but even if Stephen Miller says they have blanket immunity, they do not. And accountability is coming. Kris, tell us where people can tune into the podcast and find the Substack, and we'll let you go.
Yeah, so folks who want to listen to the podcasts, just look for Find Out Podcast on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find us on findoutpodcast.substack.com or findoutpodcast.com. We are a group of men who are all part of the White Dudes for Harris thing. That election didn't go the way that we wanted it, right? So we came up with something to do together to kind of help talk to men about what healthy masculinity means. Not everybody's a vet, so it's not the same kind of stuff you hear from me on this show. It's folks from all over the country, and we generally have a good time. I'm still the doomsayer on that podcast, but it's spread out, so it's not so overwhelming.
Awesome. Thanks, Kris. See you soon.
Thanks a lot, Ken.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.